Rihanna was like, I just wanted to be her.
So my parents were like, be realistic. Like, you need to work. This can be a side, a hobby.
Biggest misconception about you?
That I literally came out of nowhere and I'm an industry plant. It's like, what the heck? I'm a whole plant. Imagine. People don't know how hard I've worked and how hard my team has worked to get here. But I mean, everyone's gonna get that comes up from a social media viral moment. So it's understandable, but one day we'll tell the story.
All of y'all my back pay, y'all make enough money off of me.
This whole situation between Tyla and Rihanna just went left real quick. And this ain't only about dropping hits. It's about who controls the spotlight, who holds the image, and who really runs the global pop game.
I look up to Rihanna. She's done an amazing job, and I hope to one day be on that level and even bigger, you know?
Oh, yes.
Because I really believe.
Tyla's finally letting some shade slip, hinting that Rihanna's shadow might be blocking her shine, and fans swear they see the tension boiling between them. People online are saying things like, Tyla better watch out, she's calling out the wrong queen, while others argue Rihanna might not be too happy watching a new star climb up so fast. The vibes are messy, the timing is wild, and the industry chatter has everyone whispering about a possible power clash.
Rihanna was like, I just wanted to be her.
But before we unpack all that, let's rewind and set the stage. Because this isn't just Tyla versus Rihanna. It feels like the music industry itself is moving pieces on a chessboard with these two women's careers. And trust, the stakes couldn't be higher. Now let's talk receipts. Tyla didn't just pop up out of nowhere. She stormed into the spotlight after her track. Water went viral on TikTok in 2023. That song didn't just trend. It crashed the Billboard Hot 100 and snatched her a Grammy for Best African Music Performance. That's not just hype, that's a takeover in real time. Tyla quickly got crowned as South Africa's global pop princess, but that's exactly where the drama started. Fans didn't waste a second before pulling receipts and putting her side by side with Rihanna. From the outfits to the vibe, even down to the hairstyles, people swore Tyla was cosplaying Riri's old looks. And you already know, the internet doesn't play nice. Folks dragged her, calling her a copycat, an industry plant, and even accusing her whole team of running Rihanna's exact playbook, bar for bar, word for word.
There are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
But Tyla wasn't about to sit quiet and take it. Early on, she clapped back in the classiest way, saying, Rihanna is Rihanna. It's a compliment, but at the same time, I'm my own artist. I'm Tyla, and I know as people get to know me and my music, they will see me as just Tyla. Sounds polite, right? But if you read between the lines, she was basically saying, stop trying to trap me in Rihanna's shadow. I've got my own shine, and I'm not here to be anyone's clone. And she didn't stop there. Tyla doubled down when she dropped that post about people secretly recording her convos. Fans instantly took it as shade, like she was calling out the industry, and maybe even Rihanna herself for boxing her in as the next Riri. Her exact words? Talking to me about secretly recording is so weird. Ouch, that one had people clutching their phones. Here's where it gets wild, because Rihanna ain't exactly playing the innocent card either. Around the same time all this chatter started, she reposted one of those cryptic quotes on Instagram. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. And instantly, fans started connecting the dots. Was that a warning shot aimed straight at Tyla? Like a slick way of saying, stay in your lane? Or was Rihanna just brushing off the idea that anyone could ever replace her throne? Now, to be fair, she could have been talking about anything, or anyone. But let's be real, the timing was too perfect. And when you look at how Epic Records has been pushing Tyla, plus the way the industry has always played dirty chess, it's not a stretch to wonder if Rihanna's refusal to co-sign, or maybe even some jealousy, has been slowing down Tyla's rise. Fans are whispering that Riri doesn't just want to keep her crown, she might be making sure no one else gets close. And the receipts stack up fast. Between the water breakout, the copycat drama, and these not-so-subtle shade moments, people are dead convinced that Rihanna is low-key sabotaging Tyla's momentum. But here's the plot twist. When Tyla dropped ADA in 2023, no one thought it would blow up the way it did. The track blended piano, R&B, and Afro beats in a way that felt brand new. But what really lit the internet on fire was the performance. Tyla and her choreographer posted that viral TikTok where she's sliding across the floor, pouring water on herself, and hitting those Bacardi-inspired moves that went pop, pop, pop. Within weeks, it wasn't just a song anymore. It was a global takeover moment. That challenge went crazy worldwide. And just like that, Tyla shot up from being a Southern African rising star to a full-blown international name. Ada wasn't just a viral track. It cracked the Billboard Hot 100 and even peaked at number 7 by January 2024. On top of that, Tyla walked away with history, snatching the very first Grammy for Best African Music Performance. Overnight, she wasn't just repping herself. She became the global face of African pop music. But fast success always comes with shade, and that's when the Rihanna comparisons came crashing in louder than ever. It wasn't just that Tyla was young, stylish, and serving high fashion looks. Fans swore her entire rollout felt a little too familiar. The confidence, the red carpet energy, even those wild hair flips, it all had people saying, "Wait a minute, hasn't Rihanna done this already?" One viral post on X didn't hold back, saying, "What in the good girl gone bad is going on here? Now she's in a new Rihanna era. If I was Rihanna, I'd be annoyed. Tyla needs to find her own identity ASAP." And honestly, you can see why folks were dragging it like that. Because here's the thing, Rihanna built her empire as the Caribbean cool girl from Barbados with global crossover potential. Tyla? She's being positioned as the cool girl from South Africa doing the exact same thing. And if that wasn't enough, the industry setup feels copy and paste too. Rihanna had Jay-Z and Def Jam investing millions in her come-up. And Tyla? She's got Epic Records pouring money into viral campaigns to crown her as the one. Tell me that doesn't sound strategic. Now here's where the label politics come in. And it gets messy fast. Insiders claim Epic Records has been quietly flooding TikTok and Twitter with paid campaigns since way back in 2022, pushing Tyla's name before most people even knew who she was. Her single Been Thinking mysteriously started showing up on timelines everywhere, even from people who had never searched for her. And when water dropped, the same machine went into overdrive, and it worked. Suddenly, people who couldn't even pronounce her name were being served her content non-stop. That's exactly why critics started calling her an industry plant, arguing that no artist gets that kind of push without serious label strings being pulled behind the curtain. But here's the twist. Normally, being compared to Rihanna is seen as the ultimate blessing, putting you in rare company. But for Tyla, that blessing is starting to feel like a curse. She's even admitted she grew up idolizing Rihanna, saying in her Interview magazine feature, "I do remember loving the story of Rihanna because she came from outside of America. It made me feel like my dream was achievable because, like you said, it's not something that happens every day for us." So yeah, Tyla is flattered, but make no mistake, she wants out of Rihanna's shadow. In her Cosmopolitan interview, she doubled down. At the same time, I am my own artist. I'm Tyla, and I know as people get to know me and my music, they will see me as just Tyla. That's not just a statement. That's a warning shot to everyone still trying to label her as the next Rihanna. So basically, Tyla's been saying loud and clear, "Stop calling me the new Rihanna, I'm over it." But here's the twist. Whether she likes it or not, her career path is looking almost identical to Rihanna's early climb. And a lot of people think that's no accident. It's by design. Just look at how Tyla's being styled at the biggest fashion events. At the 2024 Met Gala, she pulled up in a custom Balmain sand dress that literally stopped traffic and had every camera flashing. Then she hit the MTV EMAs, rocking a vintage Roberto Cavalli, serving that same rebellious yet sexy energy Rihanna used to own every red carpet with. And when Anna Wintour herself tapped Tyla to join the 2025 Met Gala host committee, that's when people started saying out loud what everyone was already whispering. Rihanna 2.0 has officially arrived. But here's the catch. Being labeled the next Rihanna is a double-edged sword. If Rihanna feels like Tyla's inching into her territory, things could get icy in the industry real fast. And let's not forget, Rihanna is not the type to stay silent when it comes to protecting her legacy. That's exactly where the jealousy whispers kicked in. Fans are asking the real questions. Does Rihanna see Tyla as a threat? Is she tired of the comparisons? Many believe that cryptic post, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper" wasn't just random scripture. They think it was Rihanna's subtle way of warning Tyla and the whole industry that she's untouchable. But before we unpack Rihanna's shade, we gotta dig deeper into why the industry itself keeps pushing this narrative, and why Tyla's entire come-up feels manufactured to match Rihanna's blueprint move for move. I won't even lie, some of Tyla's looks have been giving Pon de Replay energy mixed with PS. Please don't stop the music. The resemblance is there, and fans aren't shy about pointing it out. But here's where it gets juicy, because the Rihanna comparisons stopped being harmless flattery and turned into a full-on battleground. Rihanna's been in this game long enough to recognize when the industry is grooming a replacement. She's seen it all before. Labels hyping up the next Rihanna, blogs declaring some fresh face the future of pop. But this time, it feels personal, especially with that cryptic Instagram post. "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." Fans swear that wasn't just a random verse, but a loaded message. To them, it read like a warning shot aimed at Tyla, a way of telling the world, and maybe Tyla herself, "I'm unshakable. No copycats knocking me off my throne." And trust, fans had plenty to say. One person wrote, "I don't think Tyla's failure is her fault. It's her team and her fans who ruined her career. They made her believe she was more talented than she really was." Another chimed in, adding that the industry gassed people into supporting her just because she was brown and could do a little dance routine. Whew, that's not just critique. That's fans ripping her entire rollout to shreds. And it shows just how messy this comparison has gotten. Some fans are celebrating, saying, "Finally, people are seeing it. Tyla and her team stole Rihanna's whole look, her vibe, her attitude, then took it to the US and tried to pass it off as fresh." Others even dragged it further, calling it copycat energy with a side of light-skin privilege. That's harsh, but it's the kind of talk flooding timelines right now. And here's the kicker. Tyla herself seems to be playing both sides of the game. On one hand, she never misses a chance to praise Rihanna. She told British Vogue, "Coming from somewhere outside the States, I really looked up to her. She made me realize there's another way." That's respect, no doubt. But then her tone shifts. Like when she said, "Rihanna is Rihanna, but I'm my own artist. People will see me as Tyla." It sounded polite on the surface, but fans swear they heard shade tucked between those lines. Things got even stickier when Tyla posted about someone secretly recording her conversations. Many fans immediately read it as her calling out industry insiders, maybe even Rihanna's camp, for trying to catch her slipping. True or not, it fueled the growing narrative that tension is bubbling behind the scenes. And don't forget, Rihanna isn't just another artist anymore. She's a billionaire mogul with Fenty, Savage X Fenty, a whole empire, and now a mother of three with a rep for being untouchable. If Tyla's rise even looks like it threatens that, the pushback won't be loud, it'll be quiet and powerful. Because in the business world, if Rihanna's not co-signing you, fashion houses, labels, and execs might slam doors shut before you even knock. And that's why fans are now whispering that Rihanna's jealousy, if it exists, ain't just emotional, it could be business too. This whole situation might not be random at all. It could be strategic. People are pointing out how Tyla still hasn't locked in certain big collabs, even though she's one of the hottest names out right now. No Drake feature, no Beyoncé co-sign, no Rihanna duet. For an artist who just scored a Grammy off a viral global smash, that's unusual. And it has fans asking the obvious. Could Rihanna be making calls behind the scenes to keep her space secure? Sounds wild? Maybe not. Because this industry has always been cutthroat. A resurfaced 2005 clip of Rihanna on the Tyra Banks show has her joking that Jay-Z once told her there were only two ways out of Def Jam. Either through the door with your deal signed, or through the window, and we're on the 29th floor. That quote has haunted fans for years, because it showed just how brutal industry pressure really is. Now fast forward, Tyla's being framed as Miss Rihanna 2.0, and people can't help but wonder if Rihanna's now the one paying that same pressure forward. Is she quietly making sure Tyla doesn't climb too high, too fast? Fans think so, and the whispers are getting louder. But before we jump straight into the sabotage claims, we need to break down how Tyla's entire image looks manufactured from top to bottom. The sound, the fashion, the rollouts, it all feels too familiar. Once you spot the formula, it's hard to unsee just how much of it mirrors Rihanna's original blueprint. From the very start, Tyla wasn't moving like some hungry, independent artist grinding her way up. She had a full-blown machine behind her. Epic Records was pushing her heavy from day one, and once you trace the way they marketed her, the blueprint becomes impossible to ignore. Back in 2022, Tyla wasn't a mainstream name at all. Yet somehow, her single Been Thinking magically started popping up all over timelines. Later, fans realized Epic was allegedly cutting checks to major TikTok and Twitter accounts just to push her name and clips, making sure she trended whether people cared or not. That's why so many started saying her rise felt inorganic. By the time Water dropped, the rollout was flawless. Every other FYP had someone dancing to it. Every Explore feed was flooded with clips, and that viral choreography had influencers hitting that bop, bop, bop non-stop. Fans swore they never even searched Tyla's name, yet her content kept getting recommended anyway. It wasn't just a wave, it was an algorithm takeover. And that's exactly where the Rihanna comparisons got even louder. Because when Rihanna first broke out in 2005 with Pon de Replay, Def Jam and Jay-Z branded her as this exotic, stylish, global-ready cool girl from the islands. Now look at Tyla. Her rollout feels copy-paste. Rihanna had Barbados. Tyla has South Africa. Rihanna had her bestie / creative sidekick Melissa Ford. And Tyla? She's got her own circle being positioned the same way. It's giving deja vu. And fans are starting to question whether Tyla's rise is authentic or just Rihanna's blueprint recycled for a new era. Tyla's got Tondo, her creative director from day one, mirroring how Rihanna had her own tight circle shaping her moves early on. Just like Rihanna went from Caribbean roots to global pop dominance, Tyla's rollout is being mapped step by step. Start with Afro-piano roots, ease into crossovers, then fully slide into mainstream pop once the audience is hooked. Even her fashion journey feels like a rerun of Rihanna's playbook. Look at the trajectory. Rihanna went from playful, sexy stage fits to full-blown Met Gala showstoppers. Tyla's done the same, switching from cute performance looks to Balmain gowns and vintage Cavalli pieces, then landing a spot on the Met Gala 2025 host committee. That's not just evolution, that's label branding 101. But here's where the controversy explodes. Some critics argue that Epic didn't just pick Tyla for talent, they picked her because of racial ambiguity in the US market. Online commentators pointed out that most African women making noise in the mainstream before Tyla, like Thames and Ayra Starr, are darker skinned. Tyla's lighter complexion, polished Americanized accent, and carefully styled image make her easier to market to global audiences not used to embracing African women on that scale. That accusation has sparked heated debates about colorism and strategy in the music industry. And it doesn't stop there. Tyla's personality arc feels manufactured too. Fans have noticed how fast she switched lanes. One moment she's the playful teen posting bubbly TikTok dances, and the next, she's a sultry high-fashion superstar dripping in couture. Critics are calling her inconsistent, saying the image shifts feel less like growth and more like a team crafting multiple identities to see which one sticks. Tyla's whole image feels like it morphs into whatever lane her label needs at the moment. And that's the problem. If your brand is built on constant comparisons to Rihanna, that shadow never goes away. Now imagine Rihanna sitting back watching all this unfold. She knows the game inside out, and suddenly she's seeing a younger artist being rolled out with her exact formula. That's why the jealousy whispers don't sound so far-fetched anymore. Because let's be clear, it's not just Tyla borrowing Rihanna's looks, it's Epic Records straight up trying to rebuild Rihanna's career from scratch. And if you're Rihanna, the last thing you want is the industry grooming someone as your replacement while you're still active. That's when the subtle shade comes in. If Rihanna feels like her identity is being cloned and Tyla feels stuck under Rihanna's shadow, then this tension isn't just personal. It might be structural, baked into the business itself. And that's exactly why the Tyla versus Rihanna drama exploded the way it did. It started small, cryptic captions, suspicious posts, little comments fans swore were aimed at each other. But in today's culture, shade spreads faster than music. Social media turned those hints into a full-on feud overnight. Now, Tyla's not the type to clap back directly, but her posts always spark debate, and she's doubled down in interviews too. In her Cosmopolitan feature, she said, "People want to tie me to something familiar to them, cool. But at the end of the day, we're doing something different." That's her way of drawing the line. She wants her own lane, even if the industry keeps boxing her into Rihanna's. When Tyla said, "We're doing something no one's done before and it can't really be compared to anyone," fans caught that as more than just confidence. It felt like a slick little dig. Translation? I'm not copying, I'm innovating. And just like that, the shade levels started rising. Meanwhile, Rihanna stayed in character, never dropping names, but always knowing how to stir the pot. That infamous Instagram post, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," wasn't just a random faith quote for the Navy. To them, it was their queen declaring she's untouchable. Tyla's fans, on the other hand, read it as Rihanna Loki admitting she sees Tyla as a threat. Either way, the fire was lit, and social media debates exploded over whether Rihanna was shading or just preaching. But things really blew up when Cardi B jumped into the mix. She couldn't stand seeing Tyla dragged online over the Rihanna comparisons, so she went off. Cardi said, "Every single time I scroll my TikTok, there's a video of her and people talking-ish, and it's like, god dang, what do you want her to do? Cut her veins?" That was raw and unfiltered, and it instantly put a spotlight on just how toxic these fan wars have become. Cardi's rant didn't just defend Tyla, it also exposed the industry for setting her up to fail by boxing her into Rihanna's shadow. And you already know, fans turned the shade into a full-on war. Some accused Tyla of being obsessed with Rihanna's style, while others clapped back saying Rihanna was just jealous because she hasn't dropped an album in years while Tyla's dominating charts and red carpets. One viral comment summed it up. Tyla's success ain't organic, it's manufactured. This isn't just a comparison anymore. It's a fan-fueled battlefield with Rihanna, Tyla, and even Cardi caught in the middle. They manufactured her whole brand to be Rihanna light. Of course, Rihanna's annoyed. Nobody wants to be replaced while they're still alive to see it, one fan wrote. Another tried to balance things out, saying, "I love how people keep claiming Tyla copies Rihanna. But instead of being bitter, Tyla still lists Rihanna as one of her inspirations. That shows she's secure and genuine." But even with comments like that, both sides kept pouring gas on the fire. What started as harmless comparisons turned into a full-blown storyline of sabotage and jealousy. And here's the real kicker. It's not just about shade anymore. Shade in this industry isn't petty gossip. It can affect opportunities, bookings, and straight-up money. Because if Rihanna doesn't rock with Tyla, fashion houses might hesitate to book her. Big-name collabs could mysteriously disappear. And that's why fans keep whispering that Rihanna's jealousy, if it's real, isn't just emotional, it might be actively limiting Tyla's growth. Tyla seems to know it too, which is why she keeps stressing her individuality at every chance she gets. If she doesn't break free from Rihanna's shadow, she risks going down in history as nothing more than a copycat. And that's where it turns dangerous. Once industry politics mix with personal egos, it stops being just shade. It becomes sabotage. And insiders swear Rihanna might already be making quiet moves behind the scenes. Whether it's true or not, the perception is enough to shift power. At this point, it's bigger than Tyla versus Rihanna. This is about legacy, money, and who gets to control the global pop stage. At this point, it's bigger than two artists. It's a clash between an established icon and a carefully manufactured successor, with the entire industry cashing in on the drama. The music world has always thrived on rivalries. Nicki versus Cardi, Beyoncé versus Kiara, Drake versus Kanye, you name it. These storylines keep fans glued to the spectacle. And now, Tyla versus Rihanna is the latest saga, except the stakes this time are global. Tyla represents a new generation of African artists storming into the US mainstream, while Rihanna stands as the ultimate gatekeeper, a mogul who can make, or quietly break, anyone's career. And here's the danger. If Rihanna really sees Tyla as a threat, she doesn't even have to call her out. Her influence in fashion, music, and business is enough to block collabs, cut off sponsorships, and stall momentum without leaving fingerprints. And when those doors close, people won't blame Rihanna. They'll just say Tyla fell off. But let's be fair, not all of this is on Rihanna. Some critics argue Tyla's own team played themselves by leaning way too hard into the Rihanna formula. By copying the blueprint so closely, they invited the comparisons that now hang over her like a curse. And the longer they ride that wave, the harder it becomes for Tyla to carve out her own legacy. Still, the whispers won't die down. Rihanna hasn't dropped an album in nearly a decade, while Tyla's already Grammy certified, sitting front row at Paris Fashion Week and hosting award shows alongside Pharrell and DJ Khaled. The tension's not just about music, it's about timing, image, and who gets crowned as the next global pop queen. That's enough to make anybody look twice. The Tyla versus Rihanna drama isn't just a fan war, it's a full-on case study of how the music industry recycles stars. When one legend slows down, the machine starts building the next one. But here's the danger. If you remind people too much of the original, you'll never escape their shadow. For Tyla, that's the crossroad she's standing at right now. Her future depends on one thing: proving her own identity. If she keeps letting people call her the new Rihanna, she'll always be second best. But if she can flip that script, whether it's with a sound switch, rawer storytelling, or carving a lane Rihanna never touched, she just might lock in her place as a global superstar in her own right. And that's why this mess matters. Tyla's either on the edge of becoming the next worldwide icon or the next casualty of industry sabotage. This shade battle isn't just about egos, it's about survival. Tyla's fighting to show she's not a clone, while Rihanna's out here reminding the world she's still the only girl in the world. Until one of them steps up and addresses the tension directly, fans are going to keep fueling the fire, and this storm isn't slowing down anytime soon. So go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments. Whose side are you on? And don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your people, and stay locked in, because the next round of this drama is coming sooner than you think.